Okay, so in this section, we're going to look at how to name branched alkanes. This is on page, if you want to follow along with the steps, it's on page 6 of your workbook. So what do? I'm going to follow through the steps with you here, especially for our first example, and then we'll try a couple other examples, then you can try some on your own. So I'll work through the example on the bottom while we go through the steps here. So the first thing that I always have to do is find, name, and number the longest chain. We call this the parent chain. I sometimes call it the backbone. And you want to start numbering it from the side closest to one of the branches, closest to the first branch. So in my example down here, I look for the longest chain of carbons that I can draw my pencil through. And it's not always going to be laid out straight like this, but in this case it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I draw a line through this. That's my backbone of my molecule. Then I'm going to number this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I'm going to start at the side that's closest to the first branch. So here's my first branch. I'm going to start numbering at this side, and this one's already done for you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I wouldn't start at this side because that's further away from my first branch. Okay, so that's step 1. Step 2, identify any branches and their numbered location on the parent chain, which is called the locant. So I like to circle my branches so that I identify them for myself. You can highlight them or something like that, but help them to stand out. So these are my branches here, and branches are going to get named according to the same kind of system as my backbones of my molecules, which is if you look a little bit up from here, you see that we have our alkane backbone names. So if you have 1 carbon, it's methane, 2 carbons, ethane, 3 carbons, propane, 4 carbons, butane, 5 carbons, pentane. So if we look at my example that I'm working with here, it has 6 carbons in the backbone. So that means that the backbone is going to be 6 carbons, C6. That's a hexane backbone. So I can write that sort of here for myself so that I don't forget it. Hexane. And then my branches get named with the same kind of prefix, but they don't get an ane ending, they get an il ending, YL ending. So this one branch has got 1 carbon, and I see that that would be a meth prefix, but it's not going to be a methane branch, it's going to be a methyl branch. So this guy will be methyl. This branch has got 2 carbons in it. So if I look up at my chart over here, a 2 carbon chart, a 2 carbon branch would be an ethane or an ethyl branch. So this was a methyl, this guy was an ethyl. Okay, so I've identified the branches and I've looked at their numbers. So the methyl was on carbon number 2, the ethyl was on carbon number 3. If I have identical groups, I need to designate them with a certain type of prefix. So 2 for di, I don't have any of those here, so we get to skip this step for now. And then these groups are going to get written in front of the backbone name, and they're going to get written in alphabetical order, not in the order of the number of the carbon. So the ethyl is E comes before M in the alphabet. So the ethyl will come first in the backbone name or in the molecule name, and then the methyl will come second. And then they get written in the format like this. So the locant comes first. So this was an ethyl on carbon 3. So 3 ethyl. Then I had a methyl branch on carbon 2. So dash 2 ethyl. Oops, 2 methyl. And then the backbone name was hexane. And notice I don't put a dash between the last branch and the backbone name. Hexane. You'll notice also that it's all lowercase, and there's no space here either. Okay, so let's try another one. So if I want to do this guy here, so the first thing that I'm going to do, I've got two molecules. First thing that I need to do is to identify the backbone or the parent chain. So I look for the longest chain of carbons. If I go this way, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that's 5. If I go this way, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that's 5, 2. So they're the same. I like to draw a line through my backbone, and then this guy is going to be a branch. So I can use my chart on the previous page. I count my backbone, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 carbons. So that's a pentane backbone. And this guy is a methyl group. Now with my numbering, I don't want to start on this side because the group, the branch, is closest to this side. So this will be carbon 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So then the methyl is on carbon number 2. So this gets named as 2-methyl pentane. Okay, let's try this one. So this one is a little bit tricky because my longest parent chain, my longest backbone, is not all laid out in a straight line. It's got this little bit of a curve to it. So this is actually my backbone here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 carbons. It's not just these 4 up here. And I can tell that because I can draw one line through these 6 without lifting my pencil. So these guys are my backbone. These guys then are branches. Got 2 branches. And I want to start numbering on the side closest to the first branch. So that's the left here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I've got 6 carbons in my backbone. That's a hexane backbone. I've got a methyl and another methyl group here. So here's where I need to use this step, number 3, identical groups, because I have 2 methyl groups. So look at how we do that. So I've got a methyl group on carbon 2 and a methyl group on carbon 3. So they'll get numbered like this, 2, 3, then my dash, and to specify that there are 2 methyls, I'll put in dimethyl. And then my backbone here was 6 carbon hexane, so it's 2, 3 dimethylhexane. And that's my name. Notice again, it's all lowercase and there's no space here. Kind of looks like there's a space here, there shouldn't be.